Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how I prep my nails for acrylic application. Everyone does it a little bit differently. This is just what I do and how it works for me. And I'll go over the products as I'm using them because I kind of have a lot here. So the first part of this video is going to be just the nail prep up to gluing on the tip, and then I'll come on after that and do an actual nail design. So the first thing I do is, in this I have just rubbing alcohol, I think like 70%. So I spray my nail and then I make sure my tools are clean that I'm going to use. I prefer this kind of cuticle pusher. Everybody has, you know, what they like. Some people like to use this end, and then some people use like these pointy ones. It's all preference. This one's the one that I like. So I just start by spraying my nail, and then while this is still wet, I go in with it and I'm just going to start scraping the dead skin off. Now I am not scraping the actual nail, I'm not digging into it, and if you can see, there's little bits of skin that's coming up. So I'll just continue doing that, making sure that I concentrate here on the sides because that's where I get my lifting and where I always have a lot of growth built up. And I'm just going to continue all the way down the other side. And again, I'm not scraping the natural nail. I'm only scraping the dead skin that builds up right here. And I'm not going past the cuticle here into the skin that way. All I'm doing is scraping what's on the nail surface, the actual nail bed, and that's it. Now on this part, I make sure I take my time and I do a really good job, because this is what's going to cause lifting if you don't get up all these little bits of skin that are stuck down, you know, in between your manicure. And even when you're doing a fill, you would come through and scrape out this stuff up to where your acrylic starts again. So once I feel like I have that pretty good, I'm just going to come in, I'm going to spray that again. I'm going to take a gauze and I'm going to wipe. And then I'm going to take my nail file. Now this is a 280 grit, so it's rather soft, and this one's fine to use on your natural nail bed. I wouldn't use like these 100, 180 grits. They're a little rough for your natural nail. If you do, just make sure you're really careful. So now I'm just going to take off the natural shine, making sure that I get into this area right here around the nail and including all the way to the tip, but I am not going to dig into the nail at all, and I am not going to be rough. I'm just going to do it very softly, and I'm mostly just going to use this part of the file. So again, I'm just roughing up the surface. I am not digging into the nail itself. I'm just taking the shine off. And I'm going to make sure that I get all the way into the sides and back to the other side here. And I'm not going up into the cuticle, I'm just going right to the edge. Now at this point, if you need to, you would also trim your fingernail and shape it to your desired shape that you want to be under your nail. Mine's rather short right now, so I'm going to pretty much leave it. I'm just going to continue cleaning up my edges. And I know that it looks rough on camera, but I'm really just being very gentle and just removing that shine. So once that's done, I'm going to spray my nail again, and I'm going to clean it one more time to make sure that I get all the dust. And then if you look at my nail, it's no longer shiny. It's kind of got a dull look to the surface. So at this point, I'm ready to apply my tip. So I just have this natural tip here. I'm going to try it on the nail, and what I'm looking for is that it fits from side to side, and that I'm not having to push it down really hard to make it fit, and that I'm not overlapping on the sides because that's going to cause lifting. So I'm just going to take my nail glue, whichever glue you have is fine. I actually don't usually use this one because it takes kind of a long time to dry, but I grabbed it before I grabbed my other one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up the well from side to side, making sure that I fill the whole thing. I'm going to apply this at an angle, and I'm going to kind of drag it down the nail until I feel that I'm inside the groove of the well, and then I'm going to push that down, making sure that I don't have any air bubbles. And I'm going to hold that rather firmly until the adhesive is completely stuck. So that's going to take a minute. So now that that's stuck, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to actually pinch the sides and hold it down to make sure that those sides are adhered. And I'm going to hold that for a few seconds, making sure that the whole nail is stuck on there really well and that I don't have air bubbles. If you do get air bubbles, you can add another little drop of glue as long as you're not covering your natural nail bed. So again, I'm just holding that until I feel like it's completely stuck on there, and then there's no air bubbles and it's not going to lift up. So at this point you have your nail tip on and you need to decide what size you're going to do it. So I'm going to trim mine right there. So now you can come in with your stronger grip file, and what you're going to file is just the top, the sides if you need it, and then right here where you attached it to blend in that area. You are not going to file your natural nail, you are only filing to make it blend in. So depending what shape you want, I'm going to just do a regular square tip. And then the sides, make sure they're completely lined up. And then right here on the top, I'm just going to go in very gently, and just on the top I'm going to file. I am not going into my actual nail bed. Sorry if you guys can't see it, but I don't want to hurt my nail bed. So now at this point you've blended in from the nail tip to your nail. You're going to take, at this point, instead of using just the alcohol, I'm going to use this Nail Pure Plus from NSI, and I'm going to actually cleanse that with that. So I have another piece of gauze here, and I'm just going to put some on there. Now at this point you no longer want to touch your nail bed, because now you're actually preparing it for the acrylic. And if you start touching it while you're adding your products, you're going to run into troubles with lifting. So I got that cleaned off. There's no more dust in there. At this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my dehydrator, which is this Prep and Clean dehydrator from ASP. You can use whichever brand you want. This is just the one I have. It seems to work fine. And you're not going to touch your actual skin or the cuticle. You're just doing your nail bed itself. And at this point you're going to use your primer, and what I have is Something Wonderful from Nail Light. And again, this one, it does have acid in it. You can use an acid-free, that's up to you. And you're just going to apply it on your natural nail, and you're not going to touch your cuticle. So you're just going to go around, and now you're ready for your application of your acrylic. So I'll be right back as soon as I set that up.